Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rowell Report. We're looking at the Strait of Hormuz, and this is the linchpin in the world economy. If Iran successfully shuts down the Strait of Hormuz more than 1 month, then we may be looking at some severe consequences in many world economies. Some countries have deep reserves of energy to keep them going during this time. I can think of Japan, I can think of the United States. Um, and so, for the moment, the situation has somewhat stabilized. The price of oil has stabilized in the uh, below $90 a barrel range, right there, between 80 and 90. So we may be bouncing between those two prices for a while until it becomes clear that the situation isn't going to be resolved and the reserves begin to run out. So if we look at this situation here in the Strait of Hormuz, we can see what is actually going on. And first is there's a whole bunch of action around Bandar Abbas, which is an Iranian port. So we have ships heading to and leaving Bandar Abbas. And sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. We have a ship heading to Bandar Abbas. This is a tanker. We have a tanker leaving. It says its destination is for orders. Probably China, if I would guess. Maybe another country friendly to Iran. We have China. It's the obvious destination of that ship. We have another tanker. So not too sure. That seems to be there with that group of ships that's just hanging around waiting for the situation to improve. So other than that, we have a cargo ship here. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Destination Kandla. So anyway, that seems to be a friendly country because they're going through right smack down the middle of the Strait of Hormuz and not too worried about that. Here's another cargo ship going to China. So anyway, we have plenty of action, but not the oil cargo that is normal for this Strait of Hormuz. And of course, this is the weak underbelly of the world economy. So, it didn't take much for Iran to close it. They didn't have to put ships there and to say, you come any closer, we'll shoot. They just put out a warning that if ships came any closer, and they weren't friendly to, they weren't if they were related to countries who are unfriendly to Iran, they could be hit, and that automatically helped the insurance companies make the decision for them. Basically, no, we're not going to insure your ship if you're going to try to run the gauntlet through the Strait of Hormuz. And because the insurance company is covering the ship, the crew, the cargo, these are huge financial investments, and it's important that these tankers and cargo ships listen very carefully to the clauses in which their insurance would be invalidated. So anyway, so we can see here the situation in the Strait of Hormuz is that it's very good for Iran, not very good for the Gulf states. And so now we're hearing about some of these Gulf states starting to shut down production either because they're not able to export with the current situation, and they ran out of storage capacity. So then they have to shut down the refineries, and that eventually will lead to shutting down the oil fields. And if the oil fields are shut down for a period of time, they will be damaged. So there is, the Gulf states are looking at a catastrophic financial situation for them, and so many of them first started pressuring Iran, and they even went to Moscow to try to speak to Sergei Lavrov to say, hey, you need to pressure Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And Sergei Lavrov gave them his 5 cents, which was they didn't condemn the attacks on Iran. They didn't condemn the attack on the girls' school. So they're just selfish individuals looking out for their own personal benefit and not thinking outside their immediate concerns to see the wider regional situation. So it seems like some of those Gulf countries are starting to rethink their position, possibly about U.S. bases on the soil of those countries, and if they want to be tied to the United States and Israel. So they're in a thinking process now, and they will think and think and think, and then we'll see where that goes. But for the moment, they are not benefiting the situation or making it better. They are making it worse. So the other thing about the Strait of Hormuz is that Iran could mine the Strait of Hormuz, but why do they need to do that? The simple fact that they have put out a message that they will hit any ship running the Strait of Hormuz, who are have destinations or ships are owned by unfriendly countries, that they will be hit. So the insurance company made the decisions for them. But even, we got President Trump. He started to go into panic mode about this whole situation. And many of the media companies started to put out a story that it was that Iran was going to mine the Strait of Hormuz. And so President Trump put out this warning, if you close the Strait of Hormuz, we will bomb you to infinity and beyond. And so basically we got so we got this posturing from President Trump, and it did no benefit for the situation. It actually, every time he comes out and makes those statements, it makes the situation worse. But the thing is, he then said that they had bombed 10 ships that could lay mines. Okay, the way that Iran could lay mines is multifaceted. They could do so with frogmen. They could with the divers. They could do so with midget submarines that basically shoot out mines, and they could be launched from an underwater facility, so they wouldn't even see those. They could be laid by fast speedboats, and you can say, oh, the United States has destroyed all those speedboats, all those boats the U.S. has destroyed. Hooray! No, there are thousands of speedboats underground in caves, inaccessible to the United States bombs. And so, no, their Navy has not been destroyed. But for the moment, they don't need to lay sea mines. Why would they need to do that? They have already controlled the situation. They've thought through how they could close the Strait of Hormuz, and they hit on a pretty good recipe. So anyway, I wanted to go to this. So I have here from APT. You can see here on the phone. Man, that is weird. So you got President Trump, and anyway, that didn't really quite know what to expect from that. But anyway, um, here is the title of this message from APT. U.S. President Donald Trump first warned Iran that any mines in the Strait of Hormuz must be removed immediately, stating that failure to comply would bring military consequences at a level never seen before. Trump emphasized that U.S. missile and naval capabilities previously used against drug traffickers are ready to neutralize any threat. Okay, well, this is so one dimensional. Iran doesn't need big ships that go slowly and lay mines. No, they can use midget submarines launched from underwater places and to lay sea mines if they had to. I believe that there is also the possibility of placing sea mines with these short range, either through drones that could just fly over and drop them, like the Baba Yaga type drones, or they could shoot a missile which would empty submunitions, and those submunitions would be mines. So, anyway, President Trump thinks that he has it all under control. Well, some people made some comments here, and I just wanted to read through some of them. And someone comments here, did someone bite more than they could chew? Okay. Let's go to another comment. If U.S. committed in securing the route, it should never launch the war in the first place. That got 95 thumbs up. Okay, let's see now. Here's another one. Go home, Donald. Quit terrorizing the neighborhood. One you don't belong in. That got 11 thumbs up. And let's see now another one. Here we got 6 thumbs up. In the Middle East, MEGA now means make Americans go away. I got one here with 5 thumbs up. So embarrassing and shameful to be an American. And we got 3 thumbs up. Someone says, my guess is this means the U.S. plans on mining the strait. Why? Because Iran promised free passage through the Strait of any Gulf state that expels the U.S. from their country. This neutralizes Iran's gesture to incentivize Gulf states to eject the U.S. That's interesting. So, Iran extended the olive branch to Gulf states, saying if they expelled the U.S. forces and their bases from their territory, they would be free to use the Strait of Hormuz. And so the U.S. could place mines to block that. So that's pretty interesting. But that only got 3 thumbs up. Not too sure why that is. But anyway, you can see that this was something Iran had always said it would do. It was going to close the Strait of Hormuz. If the U.S. attacked, Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. Now we're going to be heading for $100, $150, or $200 a barrel oil, which means the gas at the pump. Right now, I think it's here where I live around $3.60. Then they could go up to $4.50, up above $5, even more than that. that would shut down, shipping. Imagine all the cargo that has moved for all the Walmart stores, all the everything is brought in, for fast food, for the chain stores is brought in on truck. That would force them to raise prices again. Now, can you imagine a $20 hamburger at McDonald's? They're already around 8 or 9. So it wasn't too long ago. I remember they still had the dollar menu, but all these excuse me, endless conflicts have just meant excuse me, I'm making some water. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So I will cut this video short, but you can see all the ships that are waiting to get out, and none of them are coming out. So that means expenses. That means maintaining the ship, the crew, all the costs, then the extended insurance. This could bankrupt a lot of companies. So, we're looking at a huge economic fallout if this situation continues to progress along the same way. So, and the U.S. is trying to cut this short, but they know at this point that Iran is playing the long game, and they're gonna have to play the long game too. So who's going to bail out all these countries and all these companies that are going to be going bankrupt if this war continues on until September or Christmas time? So there are reserves for maybe about a month, and after that, everything is going to go out of control. So anyway, we'll see where this goes. But I don't see any quick exit from this conflict at this point. Trump is going to have to go full taco and do an about face. He could even decide to pull the U.S. bases out of the Gulf states. If President Trump really wanted to solve this, pull the U.S. out of the Gulf states, force Israel to go into the non-proliferation treaty, force Israel to have inspections of all their nuclear material and all their nuclear weapons. They could pay reparations to Iran for the destruction. There is a road out, but Donald Trump is not going to take it because he's been waiting for this moment for so long, as well as other people, and all they want to do is see Iran destroyed. It is a country that is 3 times the size of Iraq, and is it 3 or 4? And has 90 million people. There is no way that the U.S. could ever hope to control this country militarily on the ground. They can just continue to drop bombs, but they're going to be running out of targets in maybe 2 weeks or so. So, and they still haven't got to the main force and military capability of Iran, which is underground. So President Trump is quickly running out of options. He's starting to panic, starting to put out all these threats, and this is a sign that he is losing the war already. So anyway, I'll close out this video here. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you back for a future video. Bye-bye.